Hello, this is Helena Hoyt and Roya Tabrizi. We're excited to share with you what we have learned about analysis of variance. This is the outline for our video, and we'll begin with the statement of the problem. Nationally, community colleges have been called to improve student success rates. In California, several initiatives have outlined promising practices to increase student completion and transfer rates from community colleges to universities. Promising practices have identified faculty engagement as key to student success. Current studies are exploring campus culture and student involvement to see if there are relationships to student success. The purpose of the study is to explore 9 Los Angeles community colleges in the dataset as outlined below. Faculty and student engagement, faculty-student in-class interactions, and faculty validations of students are the 3 different variables that will be explored. Rendon's theory of validation served as our framework. It outlines that students can be validated or invalidated by campus personnel, including faculty, staff, and administration. Students who are validated are more likely to experience positive student performance outcomes. And finally, students who are validated are more likely to benefit from healthy non-cognitive outcomes. Data from this study was derived from the Los Angeles Community College District. Data was gathered for 9 community colleges. In it are 1,415 cases, and there are no missing cases reported for the 3 factors we have identified. The dependent variables as outlined are faculty validation, student-faculty engagement, and faculty welcome. We will be showing you how we created composite variables for each. Finally, there are 9 independent variables within this community college district outlined on the map to the right. Here you'll see that we combined 3 to 4 questions within the survey so we could capture faculty validation, faculty-student engagement, and faculty welcome. This depicts the number of students, 1,415 total, and then 9 different community colleges. It's of importance to note that Southwest had the fewest students at 72, and we have Pierce with 234, having the largest sample at 234.
With each composite variable, we first tested the assumptions pertaining to normality and homogeneity. With faculty validation, when looking at the test of normality and looking at the Shapiro-Wilk test, we saw that there was a significance for all of the community colleges. This led us to continue to check the normality by looking at the histograms, and we found that they were normally distributed. So then we moved on to look at the test for the assumption of homogeneity. When looking at the box plots, they were similar in size, but when looking at the Levine's test, we saw that there was a violation of homogeneity, with p being 0.021. This led us to look at the omnibus test of the Welch's test, which was also significant at 0.000. The post hoc test we looked at was the Dunnett-C, and this was to see where the significant differences lie. This can visually be seen through the means chart to the right. City College had a lower mean difference than Trade Tech and Southwest colleges, and Pierce College had a lower mean difference than Southwest and Trade Tech. However, the effect size was a medium difference. When looking at the faculty-staff engagement composite, again, for the test of normality, the Shapiro-Wilk test was significant, so we continued to look at the histograms to see if they were normally distributed, and they were. With regards to homogeneity, the box plots were similar in size, though there were some outliers. The Levine's test violated the assumption of homogeneity with a value of 0.023. The omnibus test that we looked at was the Welch's, and there was a significance at 0.005. When looking at the Dunnett-C post hoc, we saw that the Southwest College had a higher means difference than Pierce College, which can be seen again in the chart to the right, However, in this case, the effect size was small. For the last composite variable, faculty welcome, which had to do with the student-faculty interactions in class, like the two previous variables, the Shapiro-Wilk test showed that there was a significance, which led us to look at the histograms, and we did feel that there was a normal distribution. When testing for homogeneity, the box plots were not similar in size and there were outliers. However, in this case, we decided to proceed to see what the analysis would show us. With regards to Levine's test, there was no significance. The value was 0.114, so the omnibus test that we looked at was the ANOVA. There was a significance here with a p-value of 0.009. And when we moved to the post hoc test of the Bonferroni, we found that there was a difference between Southwest College having a higher mean difference than Valley College. However, the effect size was small. The exploratory data analysis examined the adherence of the data to the assumptions of normality and homogeneity of variance. Through the Shapiro-Wilk test, we saw that there was a significance for all three variables. However, the histograms demonstrated that the data was normally distributed. Thus, violation of the Shapiro-Wilk was likely a function of the large sample size. When looking at the Levine's test, we found that the data satisfied the assumption of homogeneity for faculty-student in-class interaction, which is also referred to as the faculty welcome composite, with a p-value of greater than 0.05. The Levine's test violated the assumption of homogeneity for faculty-student engagement and faculty-student validation of student ability and capacity, with p-value of less than 0.05. The post hoc results. Post hoc tests were conducted using the Dunnett-C procedure for faculty-student engagement and faculty validation, and to control for a type 2 error. Post hoc tests using the Bonferroni for faculty-student in-class interaction controlled for a type 1 error to make sure that we weren't saying anything was significant when it really wasn't. To summarize the previous slides, with faculty-student engagement, it was found that Southwest College had a higher mean score than Pierce College. For faculty validation, City College and Pierce College both had lower mean scores than Trade Tech and Southwest colleges. And for faculty staff in-class interactions or faculty welcome, Southwest College had a higher mean score than Valley College.
Let's now discuss our findings. Southwest College had the highest mean score for all three variables and 2 out of 3 composite scores, which may signify strong faculty-student relationships and possibly more of a sense of belonging from students. City and/or Pierce colleges had the lowest mean scores across, which may indicate that they have less strong relationships between the faculty and their students. Implications for practice. It would be beneficial to see what Southwestern does to increase faculty-student engagement. It would also be good to share what variables seem to have an immediate positive impact on students with all LA Community College teaching staff. Implications for future research. We would like to identify confounding variables to see if true variances exist between schools. Look at faculty workload. Look at student demographics. Look at faculty-student ratios. Look at student status, such as those that are part-time versus full-time. Look at student workload. In addition, we would like to use the same survey in a different community college system, for example, one that is rural or in another state. And we would like to further define high-impact teaching strategies that should be studied for generalizability. We enjoyed this and we look forward to any questions you have during class. And we wanted to share with you, under Faculty Welcome, the box plots that we found. We learned a lot about having outliers. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed.